Hey, good evening, guys. It's Norman Stickle, and I am bringing you this video this evening on codependency and how to stop. And I believe that there is several different ways that this would be possible. I'll share a little bit about what worked for me and some of the things that I've been through within these last 5 years of my life that has led me up to this point. Has been different avenues and different routes of not only healing, but of self-discovery and figuring out what truly works for me and what doesn't. And it did start by really getting to know myself. And that was one of the first steps that I had to do to break in through the boundaries, blow apart the boundaries of codependency. So again, if you are going to stick around and listen, I would much appreciate it. And I would hope that you find something in this video useful. And if you do, please give it a thumbs up, give it a comment or something in the box to let me know that it strikes a chord with you, that maybe something that I said stuck. And that is my hopes, and that is my motivation behind putting these videos out, and is really to truly expose the inner rawness of healing and being vulnerable. Also, I will include the link, like I usually do, of my Calendly page, so that if you feel it really hits home, you can book a free strategy call with me. You really have nothing to lose and everything to gain by taking a moment and investing in yourself and your future and reaching out, because sometimes getting a different perspective on things and your certain specific situation to yourself is a good way to start. So really, it just takes a few minutes of my time and your time, and really at the end of it, we have so much to gain by helping each other and by getting a different outlook or a different insight on how we can go about. And I'm a firm believer that even in a situation like that, we both will take away something and learn something from the encounter that we have. So with that being said, let's dive right in. But my first thoughts on codependency and how to stop it, one of my first steps that I took myself was really, it was like a light bulb going off in my head, realizing that I was being taken advantage of within the relationship that I was in, and really starting to tune in to my higher self, my subconscious, my gut feeling, my gut. And they say your gut is never wrong, which I can contest that, and I do agree with that. It is always right compared to our conscious mind, our ego. And with that being said, it can be hard to differ and differentiate. I didn't pronounce that right, but it can be hard to tell the difference sometimes. And it takes some practice, and it takes some time to be able to get used to doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's usually a integration time when you really start paying attention to what is being felt and what is you're kind of hearing, so to speak, from your gut, and really listening to it. So there's no shame in having to take a step back and realize and try something again, and and look at a different way, because maybe you didn't quite just get it right. We don't always get it right, because life is about learning. It's about lessons. It's about trying again and failing so many times before we actually do get it right. But then it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be closer to perfect than we've ever been. And that right there in itself can be very rewarding and exuberate a sense of gratitude and confidence and all kinds of things that come with that. But to be able to stop codependency, it really took me to really start to look within and pay attention to my gut and look at the outward signs of what I was seeing, what was being projected back to me, and really mustering up the guts to really start changing things. And just like everybody else, it took me some time. It took me time, multiple times, trying, failing, taking things back, and reverting back to what I was comfortable with. And that being said, every time that I did that, failing to me is a first attempt in learning. And it may be a second time, and it may be a third time, or however many times, but eventually you will find yourself, hopefully, not giving up, because there comes this tipping point of when you will be on the precipice of making a breakthrough and taking a big stride, or you will pretty much revert back and lose all your momentum to fall back right to where you were. And that can be one of the hardest hurdles to get over. But the obstacle is the path, and that is the way to do it. Because if you can get past that obstacle, that in itself is the reward on the other side of that. And but after the first part of listening to myself and paying attention to myself, it was really getting used to implementing it and figuring out if that was actually if it was the right thing to do, and if it was the right thing for me at the time. Because some days we wake up and we feel one way, and the next day we feel it different. And sometimes we want to run away, and other times we feel like fighting and pushing forward. And it's this constant give and take battle. But at the end of the day, it's about consistency and follow through. And it is possible to rid yourself of codependency. And the harder I pushed, the more leeway I gained, the farther I trudged forward. Even though I was being shot down, verbally, emotionally, spiritually at times, never physically in my situation, but there was a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome to be able to get past that. And the sense of accomplishing that and actually sticking to what I felt was right for me at the time was so rewarding, and it was so incredibly powerful. And it felt really good, and it felt extremely scary. I don't like to use that word because I'm not scared of a lot of things, but at the time, it was very frightening. Yeah. And it took me getting over the fear of stepping out of my comfort zone, which a lot of people do, but there's also a lot of people that don't. They don't take advantage of stepping out of their comfort zone and embracing the growth. And giving up the codependency was so rewarding for me. But there's also other ways. I found another way that I have found through time was by meditation. There is energy work, which I do. I am a Reiki master, and have been for a lot longer than I've been a coach. And that in itself gave me a different avenue, and I believe in its own right and sense helped me actually peel back a different layer of the codependency issue, amongst a lot of other things that you have challenges with, or have had, or will have challenges with, or myself. None of us are immune to these things, and we're all unique and different, and that's what makes us beautiful human beings. The techniques that I practice on my coaching clients, I have undergone myself, and I utilize on myself. Techniques of timeline therapy and hypnosis and whatnot, to be able to actually go into the subconscious mind and go in and change and assist my programming in seeing a different path, a different perspective on where I've been and where I want to go, and to be able to line things up so that things flow freely. Codependency, you have this bottomless sense of, no sense of self. And with that being said, it can be something that is extremely hard to overcome, because we, as codependents, look on the outside for the approval of what is missing on the inside, is in my own humble opinion. And that in itself can be very difficult to overcome and damaging. And I would really urge you to reach out and not be afraid to try different things of whatever works for you, because something might work for you one day, but the next day it might not, and that is perfectly okay, because overcoming codependency can be one of the greatest things that you've ever done, and it will break chains and allow you so much freedom. And the release of fear is a big thing that I do with my clients, as far as using the technique called timeline therapy, releasing the negative emotions and the fear and the things that keep us as humans and our egos paralyzed, because our higher self wants to push forward, and our conscious, our ego, wants to stay where it's comfortable and where it doesn't want to go, because that's what it knows. And that in itself can be very damaging to our personal growth and to our relationships, and it has an impact all across our board. So I am running a little bit longer than I usually do, but I would like to say that if these few things have helped, or you have any insight or would like to talk to me about helping heal your codependency, moving past that, to be able to have a fulfilling life of independence and confidence and rewarding relationships, feel free to drop me a comment, a like, or click the link and book a free strategy call. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for watching the video. Have a great evening.